Okay, I think this will be the last video, so it might be a long one, a longer one. Okay, so after treatment, what came next? A lot of sleeping, a lot of not feeling well. It was really hard, and I think the reason for that is that I had an unrealistic expectation about my recovery from the treatment. When you have to go to hospital every week for 9 weeks, like I mentally prepared myself for that, and just to get through that. And how it would usually go is you go in, you get your treatment, you come out, you feel crap. For a day or two, you feel really horrible, and then you slowly start getting better, and just when you feel almost like a person again, you go back for another beating. And I guess I sort of expected that not going into hospital would make it a lot easier for me, that it'll be a couple of days and then I'll just start to feel better, which wasn't the case. I think the adrenaline kept me going for big parts of that, and when I had nothing to attend, the psychological aspect of having cancer really caught up with me, and the physical, because I didn't have to get up, so I slept. I couldn't walk very far. I was just like weak and feeling very sorry for myself. And 3 months after treatment, I was due for my first control, which they refer to as Abrasio and Hysteroscopy. I hope I said that right now. But anyway, what it comes down to is that they go in with the camera and check out the uterus and the cervix to see what it looks like and how the healing is coming along. And then they also do a scrape, and they send the cells away to a lab for analysis to see if there are any surviving cancer cells. And as you can imagine, you kind of dread that, because until the test is done, you just actually don't know if it's over. Should you be preparing yourself mentally for another round of treatment, or what might be the case? And so I was really dreading and looking forward to putting that behind me. About a week or so before I was due for the operation, because it's also done under anesthetic, I came down with a very crazy fever, 40 degrees, on the Thursday night, and my right leg was very, very sore, so much so that I couldn't even lift my foot. I was limping around here, dragging it behind me. It was terrible. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe I would have to go to the doctor the next day and have it checked out. But when I woke up on the Friday, the fever was gone, the pain was gone, and I thought, okay, it was kind of crazy, but it seems to be over, whatever it was. Friday night, ta-da-da, it was back again, same fever, same pain. Over weekends, it's not that easy to go to the normal house doctor in Germany. Mostly they closed. There is an on-call doctor, but you kind of, is it that serious? Do I need it? I don't know. So I put it off. Anyway, the Saturday morning it was gone again. I thought it was very, very strange. And the Sunday, same thing, but then the pain didn't go away quite as thoroughly as before, and the fever seemed to be getting worse. I hadn't mentioned this before, but I seem to have a little something with my circulation, because at night when I go to bed, my one leg is always colder than the other one, and it's not just that I think it's colder. I've asked Andy to check, and he agrees the one is definitely colder. Sometimes one is ice cold and the other one is warm. Nothing is blue, circulation seems to be running, but it is a little bit weird. I didn't think much of it, I just thought it was another side effect. However, when this fever and the pain started, the Sunday night I couldn't sleep. I was in too much pain. So I went down a rabbit hole, me and Dr. Google. We were trying to figure out what symptoms what these symptoms could be caused by. And I didn't find the exact fit, but the closest I got to it was that it could possibly be caused by a thrombosis, which is very serious. So by the time Andy woke up on the Monday, I was in a right royal state. I said to him, there's something very seriously wrong with me, and I need to get to the hospital. I was ready to phone an ambulance or a taxi or something. I definitely felt like I needed some serious medical intervention. By this time, my fever was also going all the time. I was in a lot of pain, not just in my leg, but also in my abdomen. And he said, okay, well, maybe we should try the house doctor first. So he found and made an appointment, told them, what I suspected. So when I went there, they put a sonar on me, did a little bit of a physical exam. The doctor assured me that I was not having a thrombosis. She checked the blood flow in and out of the leg through the veins with the sonar, and that seemed to be going no problem. I had no redness, no swelling, and those are things that they look out for. But she said she doesn't know what it is, and she referred me to the hospital for more testing. She suspected it might be appendix. Okay, which, of course, why not? So I went to the hospital. It was a grueling, how many hours were we there? 4 or 5 hours of testing and waiting and testing and waiting and testing and waiting. And I had another CT scan. I had a couple of sonars, different doctors, different departments, and we were just sent all over the place. The last doctor that I saw was in the gynecology department. She also did another sonar, and then she did a physical examination, and she found like the not so sweet spot. She pressed somewhere in my abdomen to check for appendix, I guess, but the pressure was just on exactly the spot where it was unbelievably painful. So much so that even though I knew she was pressing there, when she hit that spot, my reflex was to smack her. It wasn't intentional, but it was just so sore. Anyway, they were pretty sure it was an appendix, but they were still not 100% sure what it was. Eventually, everyone sort of agreed that it looked like I had a cyst that had formed where one of the lymph nodes was removed, and it had gone septic, and so that was making me very sick. So they admitted me to hospital for antibiotics. They put me on 3 different antibiotics, and they also did blood tests. There's a value that they check for infection, and it's called the CRP value. I don't know what that stands for. I don't also know what it's measured in, but they wanted to be ideally somewhere around 0.5, and mine, when I checked in, was 13, which is very high. After 3 courses of antibiotics, it was down to 10, which is still 20 times as high as it should be. So the antibiotics wasn't really budging it. Then there was another doctor in the ward that she came around, and she said usually they don't really intervene in these things because the cyst is actually still quite small. But I said, how big is it? And she said it's about 3 centimeters. And I said, how big does it need to get before you intervene? And she said 12. And then I thought to myself, I might die, because I was in agony, absolute agony. And I don't think I could do 4 times as much agony before they intervened. I don't even know at what rate this thing was growing, or was it even growing, or what was happening. To be honest, I mean, I can laugh about it now, but this was a very, very dark time for me, this cyst, because I found it devastating that you do everything that's recommended, and you go through all these treatments, and you're just trying to get better, and then the hits just keep coming, you know, like, where would be the end of this? Where would it end? And the pain and the fever and the general depression that I was sitting with, that particular week was the only time really where I thought, you know, this is very rough, and I don't consider myself to be a weak person, but it might actually be easier just to not fight. Anyway, luckily we didn't get stuck there for too long, although it felt like forever. A different doctor came around and explained to me that they would perform a drainage procedure. So they would stick me in a CT, and then while I was in the CT, they would use the images to guide a needle into the cyst and drain it that way. And I asked if I get to sleep for this. It doesn't sound very nice. And he said, no, you have to be awake. And I was like, is it painful? He says, it's a little bit painful. And I asked him, if you drain this, what are the chances that it will just form again, you know? And how do you kind of treat this in a sort of like as permanent as possible way? And he said that he thinks it shouldn't be a problem because the cyst doesn't seem to be attached to any massive organ. So he felt pretty confident that one drain and that should do it. So yeah, that's another item that I didn't have on my to-do list that I've experienced. And surprisingly, it actually wasn't nearly as painful as I thought it would be. I've had drips fitted that hurt a lot more. So if you ever have to deal with something like that, may the force be with you. I couldn't have my operation, the checkup operation, on schedule. I had to reschedule because of the CRP value. I had to get it down quite a bit. Once I got to 4, they were happy to go ahead. So got that done, another round of anesthetic, and then I had to wait a week for the results, which they would send to my gynecologist. And I was understandably quite nervous about that, and I asked Andy to please phone and find out if the results were there before, you know, I'd take the bus and go get them. And he phoned, and they told him over the phone that the results were very good and that there was no sign of new cancer cells. And everything was good. You can imagine what a relief that was after this nightmare. When he phoned me to tell me, I was so surprised that I said to him that sounds like good news. Are you sure that's what they said? It's been such a long time since I've had medical good news. I couldn't believe it. Even when I went in to fetch the results, I asked the gynecologist a couple of times, like, are you really, really sure these are my results? And it says what you think it says, like it's over? Does that mean it's over? And then we laughed together. We had a little weep and a hug and whatever. I must say, when I started this, I didn't think I would get on with this gynecologist. I thought I would have to find me another one, but I have to be honest, she has been amazing through this. Whatever I need, she's made sure that I get it. Well, she explains to me what's going on with a lot of information, and somewhere between my broken German and her broken English, we find each other. So I'm very grateful. Anyway, let's do a few photos and then we'll get into the last few things. Okay, so little recap. Sometimes it's very frustrating how long it actually takes to get over this, and I'm very hard on myself because I know what I used to be able to do and what I can do now is a lot less. But I have to keep in mind that stage 3 cancer is actually not a laughing matter. In summary, I just this year I've been under full anesthetic 8 times. I've had 2 MRIs, 8 CTs. I've been in 4 different hospitals. I had 4 sessions of a very strong chemo. I had close to 50 sessions of radiation, okay, of which 4 of those were the brachytherapy, which was intense. And I haven't actually had a time to really process it. I mean, it's taken forever, but you're always so busy chasing paperwork, going to appointments, and you don't really get a chance to think about everything. And your body goes into a shock. Obviously, you are weak. I need to be gentle with myself, and it's okay to not be okay sometimes. So what's next? Well, obviously at some point or another I would really like to start working again. I'm not quite ready yet, unfortunately, but my rehab has been approved and scheduled for end of January, and the second control is scheduled for December, and I'd like to think that after 2 controls, if they both come back clean, that I will have the confidence to put this behind me and not continuously worry that the next thing is coming for me. It's obviously a work in progress, so we'll see how we go. Okay, this next bit is going to really dazzle you. So, I told you I have a checklist. And it would be very ungrateful of me not to thank the people who carried me through this, with their visits, with their calls, with their prayers, with their thoughts, with their comments. It's very hard to go through something like this when you're far away from your family and friends, but you also make new friends along the way, and I've been very fortunate that I have a massive crowd rooting for me. So massive that as I was writing down the names of people I wanted to thank for being there for me, I just continuously thought of more people that I wanted to add on the list. So I'll just give you a quick view of what my notes look like. Very organized, like my head. So I'm gonna just read them, and they're in no particular order. But if you are on this list, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for carrying me through this, and for being patient with me when I was a shitty patient, and for being one of my people. And if your name is not specifically on here, please don't take offense. It could be that my pudding branches will come to it today or tomorrow or 3 weeks from now, when this video has hopefully had a couple of views already. And anyway, I'll just say a blanket thank you to everybody, but then a very special thank you to of course Andy and Nicola, who carried this household and me while I was out of action, to my mom and my dad, and to Rian, my brother, Karen, my sister-in-law, Riachard and Ulrich, and Marta, and Yvette. Yvette is a friend that I made in Germany, And every single week she came to check on me and to spoil me rotten. Thank you very much, my cousin Melanie, for all your wisdom and calmness and support. Tanya, dankie maatjie. Denise, 1000 dankies. Jy weet, ek kan nie eers noem wat jy alles gedoen het nie. Steffi, thank you very much. Vielen Dank. Maries, Iris, vielen Dank. My cousin Ian, baie dankie. Okay, I've got a lot. I'm going to just speed it up a little bit now, okay. Mias, Marsha, Philippa, Tamara, Pam, Yaku, Ivy, Vera, Juanette, Kathy, Cecilia, Angie, Clayton, Simone, Jean-Marie, Lisa, Annelie, Dawn, Annette, Buffy, Tanya Wilma, Oom Albert, Tanya Rita, Nicolinda, what did I write here? Okay, Hartmut, Margarete, Ulrike, Basti, Hannes, Yoshi, Shaw, Annemarie, Elmira, Marcus, Emis, Ingo, Frank, Sebastian, Kian, Gert, Carmen, Frank, Petra, Hendrik, Lorena, Louisa, Anke, Annette, Andre, Julia, Marlene, Nicole, Mia, Funcho, Tanya, Matt, Kath, Alna, Stephen, Ilana, Ruby, Bia, Chantal, Stephen Auckland for your help, Irene, Karen, Rebecca, Osvita, Harold, Gabby, Renate, Angelica, Karsten, Binali, Martina, Teslima, Debbie, Bridget, Tanya Fluff Bunny, Tammy, Jen, Alula, Shirley Ann, Graday, Margie, Tanya Patricia, Melissa, Michelle, Jackie, Hannah, Kerko, Estelle, Ricardo, Elaine, Grace, Katja, Hermine, Brendan, Bernadine, Nico, okay, obviously also Dexter and Polka, my two beautiful nurses, beautiful fluffy nurses, and then I saw so many doctors and so many nurses. I unfortunately can't remember everyone's names, but I do remember Dr. Blair, Dr. Keire, Dr. Claudia, Dr. Ritmeister, Dr. Christiansen, Dr. Blach, Dr. Ilian, Dr. Bruns, and Dr. Jan. Vielen Dank. Okay, and then what next? Okay, so now we have to wait. I have to go for the checkup in December, then 6 months from then, another checkup, 6 months from then, another checkup. That's provided all these things come back clean. Then a year, and so it goes. I also have another visit scheduled with the oncologist next year in October. Going to Ria in January. Hopefully I'll be able to start working after that, but I'll keep you posted. In the long term, nobody has told me this. This is what I obviously found online myself. It's scary, but roughly 30% of people who are treated for cervical cancer have a relapse or a recurrence within the first 2 to 3 years. I'm hoping not to be one of those, and if it does happen, it doesn't look great from that point on. But I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to steal today's joy with tomorrow's worry. So we'll take it as it goes, and if it does happen, we'll fight. Thank you, everybody. Leave a comment if you feel like it. Bye.